so I'm gonna go adventuring out into the beautiful 55 degrees of weather that we've got here on this very bitter, cold December day. Global warming is real. We're gonna go hike down. There are some ruins down this trail. There is the Laurel Fork, which I might come back and fish at some point a little farther down. I'm doing a little bit of scouting as well. But we're gonna hike this, go check out some ruins, go see the French Broad River, and just enjoy a day out in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. So, the interesting thing about this trail so far is that there are a lot of like private property signs along the trail, which makes it feel like the trail itself is on private property, which it kind of is, actually, it seems like. But it's okay. It seems like they kind of have it set up that way. It's a road, mostly the first part of the trail, into three vacation rentals. And so you're gonna end up starting out on a little bit of a dirt road, which basically just an old railroad bed or something like that, it seems like. Walk past all the private property signs. Just don't go down by the river and stuff. I'd stay on the trail if I were you. And then once you get past the last drive, it starts to be a blazed trail, and seems like it's no longer like stay on the trail kind of situation. So just FYI if you're out doing that trail. Walk through the private property and keep going because there's good stuff on the other side. Alright, so we are getting closer to the end of the hike. It's just so beautiful. It's a super rugged river, actually, especially for around here. It seems to drop quite a bit along this hike, though the elevation gain is not bad at all. It's mostly flat, but the river itself seems to kind of drop quite a bit down to the French Broad here. It's almost a little canyon, honestly. It's really pretty, and there's amazing fishing spots. We'll definitely be coming back here a little later on for probably a couple days, honestly. There's fishing, there's swimming. There's a beautiful little swimming hole right down there. You can see a rope swing and everything. Yeah, if this were the winter time or the summertime, this would we'd be spending a lot of time here. This is so cool. We're definitely gonna come back at least for a day trip and spend some time swimming, fishing, and hopefully even camping. We'll see if we can put that together. This is awesome. All right, we're gonna keep down the road. We're almost to the ruins. It's an old milling town called Runion that I'll tell you a little bit more about once we get there. But it's just another mark kind of the history of lumber and milling and railroads that the mountains kind of still hold, you know. Anyway, so on down the trail. So we found railroad tracks, and we're gonna walk along these. The ruins we just walked through, they're up there. There's not a lot left, but we'll swing back around to go check those out one more time on the way back out again. But we're gonna check out the intersection of Big Laurel Fork, which is what we've been hiking along, and the French Broad River, which is the river behind me. We'll talk a little more about Runion when we get back up there, but Runion was a milling town where they would load lumber that they'd milled around here onto the railroad tracks we're walking on and take them back up to Asheville and eventually out to the rest of the world. These tracks seem to still be active, though I'm not really sure what engine, train, railway is running on them at the moment, but it's kind of cool. If you look behind me, I don't know if you can see it up there, but just up right there-ish, kind of, behind the camera, there's some ruins, but it's just like a old wall. This is awesome. I like this a lot. All right, so we walked along the railroad. Sorry about the blown out shot, but anyway, we walked around the railroad, came back to the end of the trail. We're gonna walk back around and see those ruins real quick again and head back to the car because it's starting to get dark a little bit and it's starting to get chilly. So I am standing kind of, there are some ruins behind me, some old concrete slabs. So this is the town of Runion. Pretty much all that's left is the foundations of the mill house and maybe some other foundations. There's not a whole lot here, but you can see the old terracing that they've done, like maybe their driveways or places to store lumber. There's a lot of like old pipes coming out of the ground. You can see that there used to be civilization here, which is really cool. So what I learned about the town of Runion, it's actually kind of a sister twin community with another little community down the river called Stackhouse. Both were started by a man named Amos Stackhouse, and they were both lumber mill communities where the community was like the people who worked the mills. I believe the mills were started in the 1800s, like second half of the 1800s, 1870s to 90s, something like that. I can't remember exactly. But the combination of kind of the switch into like iron and steel that happened in the Gilded Age, combined with the death of Mr. Stackhouse, as well as World War I, the flu epidemic, the Great Depression, and then World War II, all in quick succession, kind of did in the lumber milling industry in this area, and along with that went this town. So it seems like the mill closed in the 1950s or maybe like the very early 1960s. I gotta get my dates figured out, so I'm gonna kind of put some stuff like along here to kind of correct myself if I got anything wrong. But it's super cool. You never know what you're gonna find out in these mountains because there's a lot of little communities like this that used to be here for milling or mining or lumber. Like I did Cove Creek, check that out up here if you haven't seen that one yet, but I did Cove Creek a while ago and that was another lumber town that disappeared. There's just a lot of old communities that are no longer active, and a lot of old trails that are were originally kind of roads or walking trails into these communities. It's a really cool part of hiking out here in these old mountains where there's so much history. It is starting to get dark, and so we're gonna start making our way back to the car. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of filming, probably no filming on the way back because it's getting dark and we need to put the jets on. But you all stay tuned for the end of the video. I got one more thing to tell you. All right, so we are rolling up towards the end. The last thing I just wanted to tell you is mostly basically for my subscribers. I wanted to say, because this is gonna be the last video I post before the end of the year, thank you guys so much for joining my little community, for coming on this journey with me. We have doubled the size of our community this year, and that is really exciting. So anyone who I've found in the last year, I just want to say thanks so much for joining the journey. Wish y'all Merry Christmas or a happy holiday, whatever holiday you do celebrate, and we'll see you guys in the new year. Don't forget, if you haven't, to subscribe to the channel, and everybody just like this video. Y'all, Happy New Year, and I will see you in January. Peace.